Renowned producers willing to answer the burning topics that the public has long been wondering about flanked veteran music industry voice Jaguar Wright, who once again occupied the famous blue couch. The links between Wendy Williams and music mogul Diddy Combes were the main topic of discussion during this particularly intriguing session, which was spurred by Wendy's abrupt departure from her talk show in October 2021. Hi there, and welcome back to Rumor Spill. Given that Wendy has been dealing with serious cognitive health challenges, her departure was not merely a professional setback, but also a symptom of more serious emotional difficulties. In response to recent disclosures, the media conjectured about Diddy's potential involvement in what some referred to as Wendy Jaguar Wright's demise. Diddy himself materialized on the couch, ready to dispel any confusion and take aim at the rife rumors. He gave special recognition to Wendy Williams, who was the first woman to publicly confront homophobes. Wendy first brought these issues to light in the 1990s, which is when this dispute began. Wendy, who gained notoriety for her bold reporting, was the first to accuse Diddy of harassing women sexually and claimed that he had promised women employment chances in Hollywood in exchange for sexual favors. She was fired from the station when these grave accusations, which originally surfaced when she was a radio broadcaster, were made public. Her candor caused her to be blacklisted by other New York stations, in addition to costing her the job. Unfazed, Wendy used her position at the venerable radio station HOT 97 in New York to uncover more controversies concerning Diddy. She related how, while on vacation, she came into possession of lewd pictures of Diddy with another man. Before she could say anything more, Diddy made sure she was fired from HOT 97 as well. Wendy talked about the harsh consequences of her disclosures in an interview with Jaguar Wright. These consequences effectively drove Wendy out of the New York radio environment and forced her profession to relocate outside of the city. She acknowledged that she was the first to criticize homo thugs, a term she later defined as a reference to Diddy. Diddy's dominance over the media environment was highlighted by Wendy's removal from New York radios, a power that many at the time believed to be invisible. Jaguar related a personal story about secretly recording a disturbing confrontation she overheard between Diddy and herself. This episode gave rise to a portrait of a wealthy man who also developed his ability to manage and manipulate people. Wendy bravely revealed on her well-liked talk show in 2013 that she had been sacked by a well-known hip-hop mogul for being vocal about his sexual orientation. She skillfully left out Diddy's name to avoid a direct confrontation. Her audience, however, understood the consequences immediately. Wendy also described terrifying incidents of physical assaults that Diddy planned. She described how she was approached outside her studio by girl groups connected to Diddy's musical firm, Bad Boy Entertainment. The attack was so severe that things would have turned out horribly if her lover hadn't intervened in time. Even though Wendy made a successful shift to become a daytime talk show presenter, her previous issues with Diddy reappeared when she made indiscreet comments regarding Diddy and Cassie's relationship. Wendy, who is well known for being frank, talks about staying away from romantic relationships with powerful people like Diddy, who may gather a lot of resources to work against her. This served as a clear warning to the public about Diddy's propensity to use his wealth to get around obstacles, a fact that was mostly disregarded until Jaguar Wright's most recent revelations. Diddy's long-standing habit of using law enforcement and other organizations as leverage to preserve his reputation, basically seeing himself as untouchable, was made clear by Jaguar Wright's interview. The conversation also covered how Diddy's attitude toward Cassie, treating her more like property than a partner, reflected larger problems that Wendy had bravely brought to light, even though the audience was not always ready to hear them. Their long-running conflict was not even resolved by Diddy's guest appearance on The Wendy Williams Show, raising the possibility that the reconciliation was only for show. Jaguar claimed that this show highlighted how flimsy their seeming hatchet-burying was, hinting at a more serious, unsolved dispute fueled by Diddy's animosity toward Wendy's criticisms. The moment Wendy Williams, costumed like the Statue of Liberty, passed out live on her show, went viral and highlighted her continuous health issues. This episode scared her audience and brought attention to the seriousness of her health problems, along with her unpredictable conduct and memory problems. Following her later diagnosis of primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, her supporters and the general public eagerly anticipated any developments. Wishing for her full recovery and return to the active lifestyle she formerly enjoyed. In this intimate life documentary, Wendy opened up to us about her everyday struggles and routines, illuminating the big problems in her life and how they affected her intimate connections. She said that strangers had been assigned to take care of her and that these people were not only watching over her, but also taking advantage of her financially. Wendy's charges of manipulation were supported by her family members, which made it less shocking when Wells Fargo froze all of her assets in 2022. It became unclear if her team members were taking money out of her accounts without authorization or undertaking illicit activities. It is not unusual for celebrities such as Wendy to have financial managers who may withhold certain information about their riches, especially in light of her growing mental health issues. She was taken aback to discover that substantial amounts of money were being embezzled. In fact, she was judged incapable of handling her accounts herself, and Wells Fargo was forced to designate a guardian under court order to handle them. I became aware of how serious the issue was when I began to piece together the specifics of her financial disarray. Wendy had only $2 left to her name when she had previously known exactly how much money she had. With little money, she was trying to come up with a new financial plan while her assets were blocked. But the problem was made worse by the designated defender. It turned out that this person had been siphoning from her money all along. This individual was none other than Sabrina Morrissey, a lawyer well known for her needless engagement in guardianships involving money. Wendy's sister and son have spoken out about these concerning developments, expressing their dismay at the way total outsiders have managed her finances and profession. They were perplexed as to why the family was not given consideration for her conservatorship, particularly since her physician had suggested it. Excessive drinking by Wendy, coupled with other problems, contributed to her rapidly declining health and sparked allegations about her relationship with Diddy when her documentary was released. People were reminded of other high-profile incidents involving vocal celebrities such as Cat Williams, Dave Chappelle, Britney Spears, and Kanye West by these events. Reminiscent of the Free Britney movement, Wendy's family allegedly gave her an incorrect antipsychotic medication diagnosis and misdiagnosed her as having bipolar disorder, which led to unpredictable behavior. James Parnell Spears, Britney Spears' father, was appointed conservator after it was first determined that he couldn't handle her finances. She had demonstrated that she could run a successful 4-year Las Vegas residency that brought in over $137 million in revenue and drew in over 900,000 guests, but the conservatorship prevented her from keeping her earnings. The public was incensed by this paradox, which prompted media attention to the court's rulings. They questioned how she could function so well and yet be considered incapable of handling her own funds. The public uproar ultimately prompted Britney to file a formal complaint against her father's position, which resulted in the court dismissing him as her conservator. Similarly, popular comedian Dave Chappelle revealed how the entertainment industry attempted to manipulate him following his rejection of a contentious $50 million deal. He said that the pharmaceutical business intended to force him to take antipsychotics, so he fled to Africa without telling anyone where he was. Kanye West also disclosed that, despite his mental stability, he was misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder and administered dangerous dosages of lithium, which had serious adverse effects. The fact that Cat Williams gave Wendy a name highlighted these trends of industry manipulation. Because Wendy Williams was so vocal about industry malpractices, Cat Williams was not the only one to worry about her safety. Wendy was questioned about whether she believed the documentary overstated her problems in order to shield herself from Diddy in a recent interview with Jaguar Wright. In response, Wendy gave a subtle hint that feigning instability could be a tactical tactic. Orlando Brown further complicated matters by claiming to have had personal meetings with Diddy and participated in dangerous rituals. This story supported the collapse trend inside Diddy's circle and echoed other people's, including Kim Porter's earlier accusations. Cat Williams claimed that the portrayals of Jaguar Wright and him as drug addicts or mentally disturbed were part of a smear effort against him for speaking out. It got harder and harder to ignore the situation as Diddy's accusers grew. This prominent player in the music industry has an uncertain future ahead of him. It is unclear if enough evidence can be gathered against him or if others will risk their safety to come out. For more updates on celebrity news, please subscribe and leave your comments below. Subscribe Rumor Spill for more videos.